Welcome to Tutus and Tea, a podcast created by two studio owners who care deeply about the future of the dance studio industry. This podcast was born out of real conversations, lived experiences, and a shared conviction that it is time to talk honestly about what is happening behind the scenes in the dance world, the good, the hard, and the things that often go unspoken.
Welcome to Tutus and Tea. I'm Macy.
And I'm Michaela.
And today we are talking about summer training. So let's jump right in.
This is a fantastic topic because right about now, people are either auditioning or, preparing for their summer plans. So I'm so excited to be talking about this today with you, especially because I feel like you have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this. You have been in the ballet world a long time.
Well, it's definitely been a ride. The summertime can get really crazy, especially if you are focusing on ballet. But there are also a lot of summer programs when it comes to conventions. If you're a competitive dancer, there are contemporary summer intensives, which you have been to. So we have lots to talk about.
Lots to talk about. Well, if you could, I'm thinking it would be great for our non-dance world listeners if we could maybe elaborate a little bit about the importance, what a intensive is, and what a summer can look like for a serious dancer, if you could.
Yeah, absolutely. So typically, and just from a ballet standpoint, the ballet summer intensives range typically about 4 to 6 weeks. There are some shorter ones if you're younger, but the standard is about 1+ months, and auditions take place early, like January, February. Most of the time, you have to send in an audition video or audition in person. And then once you hear back, it's usually a letter or an email. Letter in my time, but now it's emails. Then you get to start planning. So a lot of dancers, the more serious they get, they will audition for multiple intensives, and then they get to kind of pick like a college,
Yeah.
which is really cool and exciting. And then from there, there's so much to consider, and sometimes it can get overwhelming, especially for new families to the ballet intensive world. You have to decide about dorms, travel. There is the cost that comes into play, so there's really a lot to consider when it comes to ballet intensives, but there are so many benefits, and we'll also get into it more. There can also be some cons.
Yes. And that is what this podcast is all about. The good, the bad, the ugly, the things that
Absolutely.
go unspoken.
Yeah.
So, with your experience, can you tell us when did you start going to summer intensives? And, like, piggybacking onto that, was that a good age?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I was raised in a ballet school that really prioritized summer intensives and going away for the summer. So I started, I believe, personally, it was a little early. I was 11 years old when I went away to my first one, and it was 6 weeks. I stayed with a host family. It was
Wow.
myself, their daughter, and a foreign exchange student from Japan. So it was really interesting experience. I was totally like a fish out of water.
Wow.
The intensive itself was with a reputable school, and because of my age and how many other dancers were there, I would say it was a good experience to be away from home, but it wasn't the most beneficial in my ballet training. So by the time I was done with it, I was ready to go home.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
What did a typical day look like there? And then is that kind of the typical experience that someone can expect to have?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it definitely depends on your age. So most of the summer intensives, they get more intense the older you are. So if you are considering going to an intensive and you're in middle school age, sometimes those are only like half days. So I think it was such a long time ago. I think I was typically training from like 9 to 2, and then we get to go home, enjoy the rest of the day. So that was kind of like a gentle push into what real summer intensives are like, which is sometimes like 35 hours a week, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturdays. Yeah.
Intense. And it's not just like, don't imagine it's just straight ballet. It's broken down into technique class, point class, workout classes. Like we were taking Pilates,
Right.
and so it can really look. And I think it was to our benefit. They threw in a couple extra classes for our mind to relax a little bit, like a jazz class, and
Oh, yeah.
just for us to like, okay, ballet's great, but let's go outside of that a little bit.
Totally.
Did your summer intensive just focus, like the ones that you went to, was it just ballet? Would they mix it up a little bit?
Yeah, so once I got a little bit older, around 13, that's when I went to like I'll call it my big girl school in New York. And that one was a lot more, it's of course ballet focused. And that's when I got to start doing partnering class. So that was really exciting, especially when you're like 13 years old. It's your first partnering class.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, it was amazing. So there was a lot of that, and then we got to try some really fun classes. Like I remember we did a Bollywood class.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we had this amazing contemporary ballet choreographer come in, and I remember he was so scary. Everyone was really just fearful of him, and for some reason he liked me, probably because I didn't say anything.
That's the best student.
Always it's the best when you can really relate with a teacher that's not the most popular, but.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there
favor.
were so many fun classes, and I think that's a great opportunity if you are a ballet dancer that hasn't had experience with other genres to really kind of, dive in and be like, oh, do I like modern? Do I like jazz? Or do I, this is that one thing I'm not going to do.
Listen, I can tell you, you learn a lot about yourself in a summer intensive. Being away potentially for the first time from your parents, living in a dorm. It's like big girl time.
It is. And so we know that you had a summer intensive that you went to that was contemporary focused.
Yes.
So what did that look like for you?
Yeah, so I was a little older, like teen, older teen, and I thought I had narrowed it down. I really wanted to perform with this group, and I'll shout them out. It was A Day Dance, and they're out of Houston,
Okay.
which love Texas.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah,
That's so fun.
yeah, it was incredible. So at the end of the summer intensive was the company audition. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be
yeah.
amazing. So I'd only gone to ballet focused summer intensives before this, and so this was really incredible. And they're actually a Christian dance group, and they will travel with whatever show that they have, and then share the gospel at the end,
wow.
which is incredible. And I just thought, wow, that would really be mixing my two worlds together, and that would be so incredible. So it was different because there was a lot. I mean, the dance world is so vast, as we've already discussed. But I just remember something that stuck out to me was they had it was basically a Bible study and a dance class together.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, listen, it's not about performing. It's not about being the best in the class. This is actually just a moment for you. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I remember that they asked us that the lights were dim. It was a huge dance studio room that we were at. We were at a college campus.
It was probably beautiful.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, so incredible. And I just remember the lights were low. They had beautiful music on, and they were like, you need to go into a corner of the room and dance for yourself, not for anyone else.
That's
Dance for
amazing.
yourself and have a moment with the Lord and let Him move through you, and you are to dance what your testimony is. And I was like, what? Because up until this point, your testimony is just, the story you have and the words you speak. But then we were able to connect that with movement. And in that moment, that really changed things for me because I was like, dance is so incredible on so many levels. It's not just about the stage and the lights and
Right.
who's the best, and it can be for yourself. And in that moment, it was the first time in my dance career that I just danced for myself.
Wow, that's
And
so beautiful.
the Lord really spoke to me in those moments, and I was just like encouraged. And I believe that set me on the path to where I am now because of that moment.
Yeah.
And that was just, I don't think they know how significant that was in my life at that moment, but that has stuck with me for years.
Oh my goodness.
So that was just a takeaway I had from going to a non-ballet just switching it up. I was like, all right, let's see what else is out there. I didn't have the I didn't have the 100% perfect ballet body, and I knew that, and I was okay with that. I was strong in my thighs, always strong in the thighs.
I totally relate.
Yeah, and I wasn't discouraged. I knew I'm not gonna be the principal dancer at ABT, and I'm okay with that. That's
Yeah.
okay. So it was almost that was like the summer of like, okay, I still want to dance. What can it look like? I have come to the fact of knowing that I'm not going to be a principal dancer. I can still be a core dancer. I can still travel with a company. So what was that going to look? So that moment, all that to say, that moment really changed my life, and
I love that.
it was
That's
cool.
a really beautiful story. Wow, you got me in my tear ducts.
you're welcome.
And that brings me to talking about summer intensives. A lot of these bigger summer intensives that are attached to year-long schools and companies, they are scouting you throughout the whole intensive. So at the end of the intensive, if you are interested in joining their school year program, they will do like an audition placement class for you in the intensive. Once you're older, they might consider you for a contract for their company. And that just reminded me when I was getting a little bit more serious and a younger teenager, I was like, oh, I want to go to these year-round schools. Absolutely, I'll audition. And yep, every time I'd go in, they're like, you're great. We enjoy having you. You don't have the body. And to hear that when you're so young, formidable years, I had a really strong support system, so it never really seemed to bother me too much. I was able to kind of just look through them and be like, okay, well, I'm on to the next thing, or,
For sure.
you know,
There's a place for you.
yeah.
Like in this dance world, there really truly is a place for everyone, and I think that that's really beautiful. How did you deal with the rejection? If
Yeah.
that's a strong word,
No,
but
absolutely.
it's kind of what was happening. Like,
That's what it is, yeah.
how'd you deal with that?
I think I was really fortunate because I know depending on how you like emotionally regulate or even just like your support system, you might take it harder. It might be harder to get through. I was really lucky because I feel like it was easy for me to, when I received that rejection, it's like, okay, that's constructive criticism. Let's move on. I had also seen some dancers growing up. We were on that cusp of the era where like bodies were starting to change a little bit from the 90s through the 2000s. And so seeing a dancer that like had a little bit of muscle on them, that was inspiring. It's like, oh wow, okay, she can do it. I know I can do it. So yes, as many times as there were directors who were mostly male, interesting, hot take,
Interesting.
that would say, you don't have a body, or I don't like the way you look in a tutu, you're gonna have to change that. If you want this role and such, I would just kind of look through them and be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna work harder, and my body is my body, and sorry about it.
That's very incredible. I'm just gonna work harder.
Yeah.
That's a great takeaway because I feel like that's being lost a little bit in this generation. Like no doesn't mean never.
Right.
No means no, not this door. You got to
Right.
keep knocking
Yes.
and keep moving forward. You didn't spend 13 plus years of your life training to be like, oh well, okay, I guess it's over.
Exactly.
You can't give up. If this is truly what you want, you just can't give up. And actually, that just reminds me, I was talking with a studio parent of mine, and they're saying that their daughter trained so hard for so many years, and now she doesn't do anything with dance, and I'm not putting words in her mouth. I don't believe she said it was such a waste, but
Right.
there's a lot of time and money and resources that went into this girl to
There
not
is.
do anything. But what I wanted to communicate to her was, actually, she is who she is today, and she is such a hard worker because of having gone through all these trials and tribulations of the dance
Yes.
world. And building skills takes time, and that has that fosters endurance. And I truly believe, even if you don't go on to perform or whatever quote unquote make it is for your world, if you don't go on to make it, you actually do make it
Oh, yeah.
because you come out with so many skills that I don't believe, you know, I think like people in the sports world are coming out with similar skills, but like
Right.
dance is so unique to what it can teach you just to be
Absolutely.
diligent, to be a hard worker, to not take no as an answer. And so I think it's a beautiful outcome one way or the other.
It really is, yes. And I think that really can go hand in hand with when we're talking about summer intensives too. You know, deciding what's the right program for you, deciding if maybe it's best at your age and where you're at to stay home for the summer.
Yeah.
You know, are you ready to go abroad,
Yes.
nationally, or even internationally at this point? There are international ones as well. And then there's so many pros and cons for each program. I think a lot of times they can get very overwhelming too for families if you're especially new to summer intensives of selecting the right one because there's so much to factor in. You know, am I comfortable with my child being in dorms? You know, the finances of it. It's a big investment.
Big investment. And so if I just want to encourage people, perhaps in your local bubble, maybe even just 30 miles perimeter, what is near you that you could start there? You know, your daughter doesn't have to be shipped off, or your son doesn't have to be shipped off to wherever you could do a daily, you know, drive. Or maybe your home studio is offering an intensive that would be maybe even more beneficial
Yeah,
for this season,
absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely. And I think it also has a lot to do with your age. Like we had said earlier, too, we're seeing more and more summer intensive programs starting at like age 10, which I personally think it's a little young between 10, 11, even 12. If you're considering going away, sending them to dorms, and everyone's different. Every child is different, so they may totally come out of that intensive and be, you know, so much stronger and it was all positive. But there is so much to factor in as far as your investment, you know, financially, your investment in your time, your travel. And a lot of times we're seeing it's really more beneficial once you're a little bit older.
Yes. Is there potential at those younger ages for burnout?
I think absolutely. Yes. We have seen a lot of times, and it's so unfortunate, but it's kind of the part of this career path is getting injured, especially over the summertime. So it's really important to prepare if you are going away or if you are training for, you know, 6 weeks. That's a big jump from your everyday schedule that you're doing throughout the year where, oh, maybe I'm dancing a couple hours a night, you know, every night or even just like a few times a week. And then you're just trying to jump into this 30-hour program a week. I mean, it's really detrimental. It could be detrimental to you, and getting injured, unfortunately, is part of that sometimes.
Yeah. Do you have any tips on what that could look like to prepare? Is that time in the gym? Is that adding more classes? What does that potentially look
Yeah.
like?
I think it's really important to find a program where you are able to add in more classes, whether that's throughout the whole entire school year or maybe just a little bit before your summer intensive. Maybe if you could find like these junior intensives before or a workshop, convention, anything like that that's going to kind of boost you in without just starting right away, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
A shock to the system.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, big time. What would be your take on big name versus best fit?
Oh my goodness. I think this is a hot take, isn't it?
I think so. Hot take moment.
There's so many pros and cons to both. I tell my girls at my school, there's really two things you're looking for. If you're going to a summer intensive for the name, that's for your resume. It's not always for the benefit of your training. And if you're going to a place that's local or a smaller name, maybe something that not everybody knows the name of it, that's probably where you're really going to improve a lot.
Yeah, I would imagine there's a little more one-on-one training happening,
For sure.
and it, yeah, more value.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'd be probably surprised to come back to your home studio and you'll find other dancers that maybe stayed home for the summer and see where you're at as far as how much you've improved. Sometimes that could be a shock,
That's
right?
true. I personally experienced that. For my middle school years, I didn't start summer intensives till I was in high school. And in retrospect, I'm actually grateful for that. In the moment, I don't think I was, because my parents encouraged me. I think maybe I took a ballet class just to, but I think most summers they had me take it off, and I was like, oh my God, 8 weeks, and I'm gonna be so
Right.
behind. But there's recovery and rest, and that is something I couldn't appreciate as a dancer. And I'm definitely not encouraging everyone to take the summer off because the summer is a great time to maybe explore new styles. Personally, at my school, we love to add different classes in that maybe we don't offer over
Right.
the regular season.
Yeah.
It's a good test run for us sometimes, and that's how we ended up with a cheer class at my studio.
Wow.
Which is so fun. Like we did
Yeah.
it for the summer. I take a little mini survey with my teachers, like, hey, this has been a great season. What are you itching to teach? Like, is there a style you want to explore? And so that's how
That's so
we
fun.
now have a cheer class, and it is the most well-attended class at our studio.
Wow.
It's very fun. But, just stuff like that. Like maybe think outside the box, try new things, try a new studio. If you haven't been having the best time, there's about 100 different flavors of dance studios,
For sure.
and there is a perfect fit for you. And this is why I personally love repping studios in my town, because I'm just such a believer that there is something for everyone.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to try it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get a little fearful. We're like stuck in that place of comfort. I found my dream studio at 17, right before it was time to
Wow.
graduate and start auditioning for companies.
Wow.
And that year and a half I had was completely life-changing.
That is so interesting. The exact same thing happened to me.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
We went. It was a couple towns over. My friend and I went. They were known for like the best Nutcracker, and so we went, and we sat there. And I remember Christina and I, we looked at each other. And we were like, "Oh my God, are these people our age?" Like they
Wow.
were. It was so good. It was the best show I'd ever seen, and I was like, "We have to come here." And it was an hour drive, and I think I was about 16 and a half. She was driving before me. We would hop our little tails into her little Corolla.
You were committed.
We were committed. My parents were like, "Hey, we'll pay for it. We're not driving you, so you better hitch
fair
that
trade.
ride." I was like, "You know what? That's very fair, and thank you." So yeah, we would make our little commute
Yeah.
5 times a week over a couple
You do what
towns
you got to
over.
do.
You do, and you thrive, and you grow. Do I wish I found it sooner? Yeah, of
course.
But whatever.
Yeah.
That ship had passed, but we
Right.
were grateful for the time that we did have there. I grew so much.
That's amazing. It's worth it once you find your spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My church has a saying, like, a church alive is worth the drive. And I'd like to switch that into a studio alive is worth the drive.
Absolutely.
Don't
it
be
is.
afraid.
I had a classmate at that dream studio of mine. She lived in Canada, and she would drive across the border every single day to get to our school.
That is commitment.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Go through customs and everything every day.
Oh my goodness.
That's how amazing Neglia Ballet is. Shout them out.
Yes, no, that's incredible.
Yes. Well, back to summer intensives, I wanted to get your opinion on that midsummer slump, if you've ever experienced that, or burnout. How do you stay grounded when you are out of your element, especially as a child?
That is a fantastic question. I think the best way to stay grounded is to really be clear on your goals. What are your goals? Are they long-term goals? Are they short-term goals? I think goals are important in life in general.
Right.
Keeps you on track, keeps you less scattered. So when you're in those moments of a slump, maybe you're like at the intensive that you hoped and prayed for, and you're finally there, and you're on class 7 of the day, and you're like, Jesus, help me, because I don't even think I want to be here anymore.
Right.
What can you refresh your mind with in that moment? It's like, okay, no, this is what I wanted and I hoped for, and I'm here now to keep pushing. In those moments, that is a moment of growth where you need to push yourself and remind yourself why you're there, what you are planning to accomplish, and just fight the good fight.
Oh, absolutely.
It can be difficult though.
It is. It really pushes you. And I will say this every day. I've never been as exhausted as a summer intensive exhaustion. I've never felt that anywhere else in any other circumstance. I mean, it really tests your mind, your body, your spirit, everything. And so I think it's important. I'll throw in a fun fact here. The acceptance rate into summer intensives is only 10 to 15%.
Yikes.
And if you get a scholarship, it's even less. It's like less than 5%, of course.
Wow.
So in those moments, just, have humility. I think a big part of dance, and especially in ballet, is humility. And
Yes.
so just remembering, like, you, out of hundreds, thousands, even more people were selected to be here. And so even if you're tired, even if, this is not your favorite class, it's week 3, you've never felt your shins on fire so much. Yeah, just like you said, remember your end goal, whatever that is, and remember how important it is, and also when you go back home, how proud your parents are going to be, your studio owners, your classmates. Like, you have a lot. There's a lot on the line.
There is.
Yeah,
You want to make them proud at home.
absolutely.
Is there any comparison to a dance intensive versus the professional performing world? Like, in your opinion, when you were performing and you were hired on with a company, is there similarities in that?
I think absolutely. The first company that I was hired to dance with, I actually attended their summer intensive as basically as an audition for their company. And then at the end of the intensive, that's when they gave me the contract. And so that was very similar because at that point, I'm 18 years old. So we would start our day with technique class, then go to point. Usually we'd have a 1-hour rehearsal, then lunch, and then like for the rest of the afternoon, it's more repertoire rehearsal, learning choreography, partnering class, character class. Every once in a while, like you said, they'd throw in something fun, like a hip hop class, ballerinas with tights and hip hop.
Oh, that's a sight. That's a sight to see, ladies and gentlemen.
I think we all have had that.
Oh, yeah, big time. It's not pretty.
It's not the same, even if you tie that flannel around your waist.
Oh, the flannel.
Me.
Guilty.
Definitely guilty.
Oh, that's too funny.
But it's the same with company. So once I got into the company, same thing. Wake up in the morning, technique class, 9 a.m. point class, lunch, rehearse, 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 rehearse.
Wow. Would you, kind of what I'm hearing here is, so the bigger names that we all might think of when it comes to summer intensives, would those be better saved for the older years so that potentially, especially if you're thinking of, oh man, this would be like my dream home of performing and maybe being offered like an internship or apprentice or whatever that might look like, should we maybe be saving those for later for our resume benefits and also offers?
Absolutely. I think if I could go back and do it all again, I would really try to curate those small ballet intensives that I know it's going to be a small class. I know I'm going to get a lot of individual attention, maybe the lesser heard of intensives. I would do those all until maybe even 15, 16 years old. And then maybe save your high school years for, okay, I'm going to try out for, SAB or ABT or whatever it is, San Francisco Ballet, whatever you're looking for. And also, we could even get deeper into that. I mean, every company has its own style, so I think it's important to start studying that if you're serious about getting into a company, if that's your career goal, to start looking into that, because there are so many different styles. You can even tell between like ABT and SAB,
Yeah.
different techniques, different body types they're looking for. I hate to say it, but it's true.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I would suggest if you're a student listening to this, I would go to your studio owner or whoever your main, your teachers are, and ask. Maybe there's a connection that they still have, and you're experiencing that right now with a few of your students going
Right.
to one of your previous training
Yes.
places. Just ask your studio owner, ask them, what would you do? They're a wealth of knowledge that you can really tap into. And I think sometimes maybe we get a little comfortable with our studio owner or just, our teacher. You're like, oh yeah, that's, Miss so-and-so, whatever. But like, listen, we had our time to shine. We had our careers. Don't forget about, who you're under in leadership right now. Like they have so much that they can offer you. So ask them, like, is there something I can be working on?
Right.
In your experience, like what were they looking for, or what is that audition process like? Because every school is a little different. You were telling me that you would go to in-person auditions,
Yes.
which is very popular. I would say probably for the bigger name companies, perhaps. For me, it was anything from a video to, I remember one intensive, they just wanted the arabesque photo on point,
Yes.
which. Girl, angles are everything with that. You can fake
yes.
that.
That arabesque picture will take you anywhere.
It really will. That's a moment in time that
Yes.
is not necessarily the truth.
Right.
No, I was like always so grateful when it was an arabesque photo. I was
Yeah.
like, nailed it, got it.
Yep. Let me do a Grombat Ma since it's just a still photo.
Exactly. You get it. You get it. So, just don't be afraid to ask your teachers,
Yeah. And your teachers, they know how you dance. So if you really want a personalized recommendation, I am happy to give it to you.
100%. It's what we're here for.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you stay in a dorm with your summer intensive?
Yes. A couple of them that I were at was a dorm. So it was like almost like they rented out. It was like a college campus that we took over. And so we would stay in dorms. We had a dorm mom who was a company member of that company.
Oh, nice.
Which was cool because we could like pick their mind and
Really cool.
yeah, I loved that. And then the other times it was a hotel, which was awesome. Yeah, it was a hotel, and then they would bus us over every morning to the studio. I think that they rented out. I remember it was a massive studio I think this was in Texas, and it was like 12 rooms, huge facility. I was like, wow, goals. So yeah, it can look different. Some people stayed offsite if they were local. So yeah, look into that. If you know your comfort level as a parent
Right.
or as a student, there simply is something for everyone. So whatever your comfort level is, I think you can find that for summer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know nowadays it's so much it's getting increasingly easier, I think, to stay connected if your child is in a dorm because we have smartphones, we have FaceTime, we have, location tags and everything. So, when I was growing up, that was not the case. It was like, give me a call in the morning so I know you're alive.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean,
have changed.
sounding like a dinosaur, but it's changed and it's changed really rapidly. And I know that there are a lot of really beautiful dorms and the RA programs. A lot of these RAs are professional dancers or they're mothers themselves, so they're really, taking care and looking after your child while they're there. But
Yes.
also, your child is really responsible for themselves. You have to make sure that they're getting their meals in, they're getting their laundry done. They get a chance to kind of test out being an adult for that summer.
So important.
It
I think it's
is.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is there anything that you would like to leave our listeners with when it comes to this beautiful topic of summer intensives?
I think no matter where you go, if you are setting the right goals, you will improve. And that's not just speaking about your technique and your skill set, but also just as a person, your mentality will definitely improve. It is hard. There's so many pros. It's difficult though. We're not going to lie. Summer intensives are called intensives because they're intense.
They are. They're not
So-
lying to you.
I would say just don't get overwhelmed because there's so many amazing options out there. I mean, increasingly, we're getting so many more amazing intensives that are available throughout the United States. And also, don't be afraid to reach out and talk to your mentors and your dance teachers to see what the best fit might be for you.
That brings us to the end of today's episode of Tutus and Tea. We hope you're walking away inspired, informed, and maybe even a little fired up about the world of dance. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a conversation. You can also watch and listen to us over on YouTube. And be sure to follow along on Instagram at Tutus and Tea with Macy and Michaela for behind-the-scenes moments, updates, and a little extra tea in between episodes. We'll see you next time.